Washington, D.C. Fox News political analyst Jehmu Green now with me, an advisor on Hillary Clinton's 2008 campaign. Nice to see you.
Hi, Bill.
A lot to go through.
Yes.
What's the defense here? Her best defense is what?
Well, I think the understanding that hasn't been talked about needs to be the first thing put on the table, which is, what does the Clinton Foundation do? I had a chance to travel with the Clinton Foundation to Rwanda, Ethiopia, Senegal, and to see firsthand, there are 10 million people in these countries that have access to HIV/AIDS treatment because of the Clinton Foundation. There are 50,000 kids that are now living each year because of the Clinton Foundation in Malawi, in Ethiopia, in Kenya. There are 80 to 90% decreases in the cost of malaria medication in countries that people were dying from malaria. I had malaria as a child. This is something.
You and I have talked about your
foundation.
work. I get it. Okay, there is some good work that's being done here, and we admit that. And you and I have talked about it in the past. That's not the issue here. The question from the State Department said Cheryl Mills' trip to New York was not paid for by the government. But that's not the question. The question is whether or not there was double dipping in a backhand.
So, well, we have to look at the facts here, Bill. She paid for a trip to go and see if she could give advice in a very important hire for someone she's worked for decades. And the emails that we're talking about that are coming from a right-wing group that have been coming after Hillary Clinton to do political damage for years. We are talking about 2 emails. One, so that someone who worked for Secretary Clinton could get a reference. Have you ever given a young kid a reference before?
I saw 44 emails out this past week. I think the issue here is this. Until there is a stated clarification of everything that happened, knowing there hasn't been a press conference since December 4th, and knowing that you get inconsistent and twisted answers, that's what helps fuel this. And I think even you as a Democrat would admit you would like a clarification of all of this to put it behind you. True or not?
I think we've gotten so many clarifications, and as these emails continue to drip out, this is exactly what Judicial Watch wants. They want to create political damage. So there is no clarification that Hillary Clinton can make because Republicans have nothing else to run on, Bill.
We mentioned Daily Caller, we mentioned CNN, all the other outlets on this now. In October, the Wall Street Journal found that 42% of Americans had questions about the server issue, and they said it was an important factor in their vote. That number is now 50% or higher.
Well, I don't think it's a surprise because it's really the only conversation that's happening about Hillary Clinton and what her candidacy means for this country. Why are we not asking what are the differences between their economic plans? It's because the Republicans have nothing else to offer except for digging through emails one by one, and we are contributing to this. We in the media are contributing to.
How many
let's
more?
Analyze someone. Yeah. What are in Donald Trump's emails?
We've talked a lot.
What are in your emails?
Talked a
what
lot
are in my
about
emails?
The economic plans for the past 48 hours. How many more emails are forthcoming?
Who knows?
Right.
Because there is an agenda from the Republican Party, knowing that Donald Trump, what his campaign is going to do is just continue with incendiary and outlandish attacks. They have no substance to give. So what can they do? They can just dig into her emails. Even while she just released her tax returns, 10 years of tax returns on the site. They've been releasing tax returns since 1977, and yet Donald Trump hasn't released them even after he said that he would. What is he hiding? What are in his emails? Can you imagine if we got 1 year of tax returns from him? The only reasonable answer why we're not looking through his papers is because there is something to hide.
Trump and Pence see a target here.
Of course
when
they do.
They see pay for play.
Well, that's how they refer to it.
And that's the phrase that they have used all week. I'll give you the last word and how you defend that with 90 days to go.
Well, I think it's very easy to defend the Clinton Foundation when you've got millions of people whose lives are better because of their work. Foundations don't usually work to put themselves out of business. And it is incumbent upon us in the media covering this story to say, look, if these emails are an issue, we also have to look at the impact. That kids in this country are healthier because of the Clinton Foundation. 90% decrease in beverage calories.
Jehmu,
that has to be a part of the story, Bill.
Thank you, and we've spoken about that before. Thank you for your time today. Jehmu Green here in studio.